Chris here from AV.technology. I'm here with Joel from Crestron. Joel, you're an Aussie living the Crestron dream overseas. Can you just tell us like your 30-second potted history?
Yeah, sure. So started with Crestron in the Australia business in 2007, 2008, under distribution at the time, but then followed it across to opening up the offices in Australia and ultimately across Asia. Spent a bit of time in Singapore for a brief minute there. Did 4 years in Singapore, and then now more recently based out of the US.
Yeah, right. So you're in the marketing division.
Yep.
Like, what's that can mean 1,000 things.
Yeah.
What is it that you do?
Yeah, I look after our commercial product marketing. So we really sit in between what our product managers, who are dreaming up all these great products, coming up with all these great ideas, and the marketing machine. We're kind of sitting somewhere in between and making sure that what they're making, how we talk about it, what we're targeting in the market in terms of what capabilities products do or what they deliver to our customers, making sure that's all aligned and nice and clean and neat. So helping to form that message, yeah.
So I'm happy to sort of talk marketing with you just for a minute, and I guess sort of diving a little deeper on the key messages that Crestron are kind of broadcasting at InfoComm 2025, and right behind you, actually behind your head, it says content, collaboration, and control. So I guess, do you want to just speak to that for a minute?
Yeah, sure, certainly. Yeah, so that's really a big theme of InfoComm is content, collaboration, and control. We really built that wording or that messaging to help align what we do with our technology and put it into some buckets that really align to what people want in spaces. So content for us is really about sharing information, right? When we come into the workplace, when we go into education facilities, we typically want to share information. That's on laptops, it's on mobile devices, it's on fixed devices in the room like document cameras, UC platforms, you name it. And content for us is about making sure we can move that from multiple sources to multiple displays or single displays. So technologies like Air Media, wireless presentation comes into that, DMMBX, AV over IP, even right through to our DM Essentials point-to-point solutions. All about just moving that media around the place. And then collaboration for us is collaboration both remote and hybrid. So obviously things like our Teams rooms systems and our Flex Room systems enable that. But collaboration happens in person as well, right? We go into a space, especially large spaces, high impact, we gather together and collaborate. And in there we need intelligent audio, right, that does feed into those Teams rooms and Zoom rooms, but that audio for those high impact spaces is really important, but also the video aspect as well. So our camera technologies, multiple camera, single camera, all those working in unison to make sure that that experience in a space is as natural as possible. Again, remote, hybrid, or in person. And then lastly, control. Control is really how we round it all out. All that technology is great. We love putting lots of technology in a space, but at the end of the day, most people that use those spaces are not technology experts. They're teachers. They're people that work at a business. They simply want to meet. And Crestron Control helps us to simplify that experience, making sure that all that disparate technology is working together to match the workflow of the space, so that when people come in, they can just do what they intended to do in the space. Almost helps it to become invisible in the background, and it actually enhances the experience, doesn't hinder or get in the way of. And also in Control then we talk about things like cloud management as well, that kind of just rounds out that story of making sure all that technology can be serviced and looked after in the best way possible. So that ends up being content, collaboration, and control.
It's very neat, 3 Cs. And the other sort of buzz term that you're using at this show has a distinct Aussie flavour, True Blue, which is, I guess, more about sort of customer relationship interface connection with Crestron. Do you wanted to speak to that for a minute?
Yeah, True Blue is another thing we launched at our Masters event we had about 4 weeks ago in Madrid. So that's where we get a whole bunch of people together who are, from a programming background or and want to come and get certified or trained. And we bring them together and we announce this idea of True Blue. True Blue is much more than just that audience though. True Blue is every interaction you have with Crestron. So you'll see us continue to use that in more and more ways moving forward. But training with Crestron is True Blue, customer relations or order entry is True Blue, tech support is True Blue, your sales rep is True Blue. It's really every interaction you have with us. So what we're trying to do is build a community of people that together what we do as a manufacturer and what the industry and that community of pros, integrators, consultants, all those great people that are involved in our industry do together, we're all pushing the industry forward. So that is the true blue way.
How would you characterize sort of customer loyalty when it comes to Crestron? Like, it always feels like you have a Crestron tribe, and that there is sort of, in my experience or opinion, there's a greater loyalty there. Even when you went through the, dare we refer to it, sort of the horrible period of COVID where stock was hard to come by.
Yep.
You seem to not sail through that, but you seem to go survive that without too much brand reputation damage.
Yep.
So, what do you put that down to, and how is it different maybe to your competitors?
Yeah, we really believe in not only selling the product to our customers, but supporting that product through and through. So whilst we want to innovate and make the latest and greatest, it's not good enough to just sell it. We need to make sure that no matter what happens with that product in the field, whether it's a support mechanism that's needed, that we're there to support it all the way through. And that doesn't matter what size of dealership it is or what size of customer we're talking to as an end user, we are there to support it. It has our name on it. We will make sure it works, and we will work with all the parties involved. But before the support mechanism comes in, it's the training and upskilling that's super important as well. As we are bringing new cutting-edge technologies and products to the market, we all saw it with AV over IP coming in. We saw it before that with digital media from us. We're just moving from the analog to digital domain with video. We're seeing it now with multi-camera as well. Those are specialist skills that previously didn't exist, and an industry needs to be trained. So us as a manufacturer making those products, along with other manufacturers as well, we all need to get behind this idea of training and upskilling so that as an industry we can grow, that skill set can grow, and as that grows we can all push those ideas out into the market that are well trained on, there's pros supporting it, and our end customers are ready to receive those great technologies.
Yeah, that's interesting, because in other areas of AV, commercial AV, as the sophistication of the product grows, it feels like less and less is being asked of the reseller or installer, because it's almost above their pay grade, and increasingly you've got guys selling stuff in the field and maybe rigging it or installing it, but then having to rely on a brains trust at HQ that does all of the heavy sort of design and element of that job. But I'm not hearing that from you. It's sort of like you can't avoid the guys in the field needing to do some of that heavy lifting, so your training is paramount, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's why our training for us is a global effort, right? We are offering training in really every location we have, because we want to upskill the people that actually have to deploy it on the ground, right? It's not, for a number of these new technologies, we don't think it's something you can always do remotely. As that skill gets more and more normalized, hopefully, we get to stop training on the old and start training on the new, right? And always evolving that training. But the training aspect, we really do believe globally, especially as we roll out new technologies, so it's fully supported before it has to touch site. When it does touch site, we're there with our standard tech support backup as well.
And I guess finally, to touch on that sort of engendering customer loyalty in a time, I guess, where it's fair to say that the technologies, although you do have many technology differences and your product, is often best of breed, it's getting harder and harder to entirely differentiate yourself with a superior product. And so I guess you're proving me wrong with this demo, which hopefully we can go and have a look at in a minute, where you've got all the various ways of tracking and using multiple cameras, etc., etc. But what other ways? Maybe you're thinking like sort of ecosystem ways that you're helping to keep your clients close.
Yep. Yeah. There is a natural evolution that happens with technology, right? It starts as cutting edge and eventually it gets normalized, and hopefully that cycle keeps growing, and we're as an industry, but certainly as Crestron, bringing more and more new cutting-edge technologies in. However, we do expect those technologies to be adopted in other places and other companies to come out with other technologies first. But as that naturally happens, we have always really lent on this idea that Crestron is an ecosystem. Right? We don't make everything in the room. We're obviously not a display manufacturer, but we make a lot of the other products. And all those products need to harmoniously work together. Right? They have to be engineered from the ground up, day one, to work together. So this common platform, this common stack of technology that lives in them has been a strong belief of ours. So making sure that the guys making touch panels or product managers making touch panels and the ones making our UC systems, they're in conversations on a regular basis. How can we share resources, knowledge, understanding about what our customers need so that we're, as a suite of products, always putting out there what our customers need.
Gotcha. Well, lovely to meet you, Joel, and it's nice to know there's an Aussie accent in the hive mind of Crestron, so that's good to see. So thanks for sparing your time.
Awesome. Easy done. Thank you so much.